Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Ruchakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, How Did the Walls of Jericho Fall? And pretty much this lesson came through an inspiration of a video I was watching, Elder Yashawamba did. I was watching it last night. I can't really remember the name of the one I was watching because I watched a few of his videos. I don't really remember exactly which video it was that he was doing, but something that he said in the video, I'm not sure if it was this investment is about to hit. I'm not sure if it was that one. One of them he was doing, like I said, it just put that thought in mind of, the fall of, the fall of Jericho. And the title came in like, How Did the Walls of Jericho Come Down? Now, Jericho was one of the first cities we took down from these Canaanites, and this is the same city where the two spies went in and Rahab the harlot, hid them, in her home. And, not too long after that, the Lord had sent out Joshua and the mighty men of Israel, to take this city down, and there was a process of things that were done by the Israelites, the Levite priests, that were out in the forefront, and there was a 7-day period where they circled the city. They would blow with the trumpets. There were 7 priests. They had 7 trumpets. They would blow. They would walk around the city the first day, blow the trumpets. Walk around the city the second day, blow the trumpets. And by the 7th day, they walked around the city 7 times, and they blew the trumpets, and the walls just came crumbling down. But you're going to read that story. Now, in that, I thought about 2 movies, when I started thinking about this. One of them was The Handmaid's Tale. I thought that was Jericho, but it was the Republic of Gilead, which Gilead is not too far from Jericho. Gilead would be northeast of Jericho. I'm not sure how many miles. I didn't really look it up, but it was northeast of Jericho. And those trumpets were symbolic of what we see going on right now today, because the trumpets are being blown, to bring this modern day Babylon the Great, America, down. So in a sense, you could say that America is like a representation of Jericho, and the warnings were going out just before the city fell. The other movie that came to mind was the movie Fight Club, and I learned this from Elder Apostle Gabar, because we had bought I believe either the Blu-ray or the DVD. This is years ago. And I guess one day he was going through the scenes, and he noticed that the last scene in this movie, which we're gonna go down to, which is where they blew up the buildings. I'm not sure if it was 7 buildings, what the case was, but the name of the scene, the last scene, is called Walls. Here it says Jericho. Other places it says Jericho, but it's the Walls of Jericho. And then you had 7, I believe it was 7 buildings that fell. I'm not sure. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find anything on it. And that's what it made me think of, So pretty much everything is centering towards the collapse of this society. And the way they did it here, this collapse was to set everything back to zero, to destroy all financial records where they couldn't find out who owed what or whatever the case may be, because obviously everything was in a particular data. And pretty much that's how the Most High, is going to destroy and set everything back, because he's going to destroy not only America, but all the records, everything is going to be totally demolished, you know? So, what I want to do is, let's start off with this one precept first. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 2 and 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Okay, and this is what's been going on, the blowing of the trumpet, and the alarm of war. Because there were different sounds that you would blow with the trumpet, which could be for just the gathering of the leaders of Israel, or for the gathering of the whole congregation of Israel. And if you blew the trumpet with an alarm, depending on how many times you blew the alarm, certain tribes would come, to the aid, or to fight in this particular war, so on and so forth. Well, this trumpet is being blown for pretty much the destruction and the end of this society and the collapse of this society. Another precept came to mind. Let me get this real quick, and then we'll come back to this. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Why? Because the trumpet is associated with devastation, destruction, woes, calamities, war. Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, have not done it? So the trumpet is being blown right now. And what is a trumpet being blown for? Let's go to Jeremiah 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries. And this is what Yahushai said that would be happening, that we would be doing, that the apostles and the men of the Lord were doing back then, and what they would be doing now in these times. Let's go real quick to Matthew. I believe that's the 6th chapter, or no, I'm sorry, the 10th chapter. Matthew, the 10th chapter, and the 18th verse. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Because this good news is for the Israelites, but bad news is for the Edomites and the other nations, and 2/3 of the nation of Israel. So going back, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And we're witnessing these three and many more happening right now worldwide, because they're about to do a reset. They're about to shut everything down to establish the New World Order, their agenda, upon their principles, and this is why they're shutting things off, cutting things off, choking things out, saying that there's shortages when there are no shortages. It's just, it's being manipulated because of the products are there, at the port. But the problem is that, they're not being shipped out, but this is done on purpose, to put a stranglehold on the people, because they're seeing that it's not working for everybody to take the stuff voluntary. So the best way to do it is to put people in a bad predicament so that they would, comply with the mandates, of the government, which pretty much are the mandates of the international banking families, because they own everything through their corporations and through the manipulation of the money system. All right, so let's go back to Isaiah 13 and 1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. And the banner is what? The banner is this God damn, man. Really? The banner is this truth. It says the high mountain is America. And what we're doing is the same thing that Jeremiah was doing, was that Isaiah was doing, and Jeremiah and the rest of the prophets. They were prophesying against these different kingdoms of pestilence, of war, and pretty much of the end of their society. It says, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And the gates of the nobles represent their leadership. And when you're exalting your voice and shaking your hand, you're telling somebody off, and they're going into the gates of the nobles, because the gates of the nobles are the people that are in the positions of government to make these different decisions to try, you know, to see if there's something that they could do to stop the whole process of what's going on. So with that being said, let's go to the book of Joshua, you know, the 6th chapter, and we're going to read through this chapter, Lord, so we can get through the whole thing. That's what I put, didn't I? It says, the conquest of Jericho. Now, Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. So pretty much our forefathers had pretty much besieged the city of Jericho. You know, we were outside the gates. They had everything walled off, closed off. Nothing could come in, nothing could come out. And remember, back then, everything was, you know, cities had walls around them, you know, to protect, you know, their, you know, the people inside from any invaders just rolling up on them, you know, and that's why it was a standoff, you know. And what made it so beautiful about this is that after the process that the Lord made us to do, you know, around the city, the walls just came a-tumbling down. All right. So it says, and the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, Salakia, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. So pretty much the Lord gave everything into his hands, and that's why when Babylon the Great falls, her whole system is going to collapse. Her nobles are going to collapse. You know, her mighty men are going to collapse. Her financial experts are going to collapse. Everything is going to collapse. Their priesthood on the left-hand side, the witches, the warlocks, you know, their wise men, everything is going to collapse, you know, because once this place goes down, that's it. Because what's coming next is Yahweh's kingdom, not any other nation's kingdom. It says, and you shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. So they did that once a day. You know, from day 1 to day 6, once a day they will go around the city one time. It says, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns, and the 7th day you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpet. See, so the 6 days they went around once, and then the 7th day they went around 7 times, and then they blew with the trumpet. So this is a and once they blew with the trumpet, something happened, and that's what's going on right now. You know, and there's a reason why, you know, things are going on the way they're going, because of the prophecies of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai playing out the way they're supposed to play out. It says, and it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. So that's what's going to go down, you know, and that's what happened, you know. So that great shout is synonymous with what's going to happen now. You got the 7 trumpets about to blow. The Lord's going to give that shout from heaven, and this place is going to go out. This world is going to go out, and the elect are going to be delivered into the chariots and be brought home back to the land of Israel. It says, and Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said unto them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. And he said unto the people, pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord. That's right, because back then it was done that way, you know, because the men of war, they were strapped pretty much. And when the walls came down, they rolled up in the city, killed the mighty men, killed the men, the women, the children, and all of that. And they took the precious metals and certain vessels and stuff for the purpose of the Lord. It says, and it came to pass when Joshua had spoken unto the people that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns passed on before the Lord and blew with the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. And this was pretty much the introduction of the nation of Israel about to come into power and to take over these lands, because this is the very first city that our forefathers took over. I mean, you had on the other side of Jordan, you had Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. But on this side, this is what began these wars. It says, and the armed men went before the priests that blew with the trumpets, and the rearward came after the ark, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, you shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth until the day that I bid you shout, then shall you shout. So the first 6 days, it was just a walking around, blowing the trumpets. Nobody was saying nothing. Nobody was, causing a tumult. Nobody was yelling, down with you goddamn Jerichoites, whatever the case may be. It says, so the ark of the Lord compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. So that was day one. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the rearward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So did they 6 days. So this process was once a day. They would go around the city once. The priests would bear the ark. They would bear the trumpets. The mighty men would go. And once they went around once, the priests would blow with the trumpet, and then they would go back to the camp. They did that 6 days in a row, right? It says, and it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. See, so the last day, which was the 7th day, they compassed it around 7 times. Now the number 7 represents completion, because this was going to be the day, which was the 7th day, which was the last day, which was a completion, that they were going to take this place down. So instead of going around the city once, they went around the city 7 times, right? Only on that day, they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. So this was a shout of victory. You see, there was a shout of victory going on here, and that's why they shouted, because it was time to take this place down. And what this is sort of like, spiritually today, the prophets are here shouting on the streets, shaking their hand and telling these devils off, telling them that they're about to go down. All right, it says, and the city shall be accursed, even it. Right? The city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein, to the Lord, because they were accursed, because they were going to be the sacrifice. Because the Lord was setting up a great sacrifice, and you had to have people on that altar, so to speak. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And Rahab, which was a harlot, which a lot of you people out there, a lot of you simps, you tight panty wearing punks, you have a problem with brothers dealing with harlots. Well, this woman, she did a great thing. She was delivered. And also on top of that, one of the lineage of King David went through this woman. How about that? Huh? Oh, you harlot, you guys dealing with harlot, you dealing with prostitutes. Whatever, man. It says, so let's deal with this word accursed, because that's really what I want to get to. And Satan don't take no coffee breaks. I just wanted to let you know that. All right? Satan don't take no coffee breaks. He drinks his coffee black. All right, so we're going to look up the word accursed. And the word accursed is the word haram. Haram, right? A thing devoted, thing dedicated, banned, devotion. A net, thing perforated, have been utterly destroyed, appointed to utter destruction. So an accursed thing, which was something that was dedicated. You go to different precepts that give you precepts on things that were dedicated, whether it was a sheep or an ox or a ram or whatever it was, a goat, whatever it was for the sacrifice. That thing was consecrated. It was dedicated, but it was also appointed to utter destruction, because in order for the peace to come, that had to be killed. All right. So what that led me to was the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. And I was like, I don't think that word is there, but Spirit had me check, and lo and behold. So Isaiah 34 and 5. It says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." What heaven is it speaking about? It's speaking about in the air. Because Yahushua, when he comes back, he's coming to destroy Esau and his military that's going to be in the air, along with the other nations. Because that's why he's gathering all those nations over for this destruction. It says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. "And upon the people of my curse to judgment." And when we look up this word curse, lo and behold, what do we have? The word charam, the same word that we have in the book of Joshua for the word accursed. You know, they're cursed. They're the thing dedicated or the thing appointed to utter destruction. We read, what was it, yesterday? Romans 9 and 22, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. They were tailor-made for destruction. So they've been consecrated. They've been dedicated for this great sacrifice. As Elder Pastor always speaks about, the America's the altar, and the people that are left here are going to be that great sacrifice. All right? It says, "The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra." See? A sacrifice in Basra. You know, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So America will represent Basra. My goodness, what the hell? Salakia, brothers. Let me take this call. Salakia. All right, Salakia, brother. Salakia for that. I guess sometimes you got to multitask. But nevertheless, there's a great sacrifice in Basra. You know, America is that great altar, and the people left here are going to be the ones that are going to be slaughtered. You know, and there's a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Yahushua said, pretty much, Yahweh said through Isaiah, when Yahushua comes back, said the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right. So let's go from there. Let's go back to, before we go there, let's go. All right. So we read that the Esau, the Idumeans, the Edomites, are the people of the Most High's curse. The thing dedicated, the thing accursed, the thing set aside for destruction, for the great sacrifice. So from there, let's go to the book of Psalms, the 137th chapter, and the the 7th verse. "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof, because they came in when the Babylonians came to destroy us. Esau was right there with them." You can read about that in the book of Obadiah, and I'm sure there's other chapters in the scriptures where you can read about that, but the main one is the book of Obadiah. They came in, they helped. They say race it, which means, in other words, throw it down to the ground. In other words, stomp it out so that into oblivion. And when we went down as a nation, all these nations rejoiced at that. Psalms the 83rd chapter, Lamentations the 2nd chapter, they rejoiced over that because they knew that as long as we were down, they were safe. When you read through the book of Joshua, Rahab said, look, we heard that the Lord, what he did to you, and that your fears come upon us. And when they found out that the waters of Jordan were dried and the children of Israel crossed over, all of those Hamitic tribes were all shaken, man. Their knees was knocking. They was trembling. They were like a straw in the wind. Inside joke, but that's how they were. Because they knew that once the Lord was on our side, that was their ass. This is why Achor, they asked him counsel of what they should do to come against the children of Israel. He said, look, if they're good with their power, you better leave them alone. But if there's some kind of infraction there and the Most High is mad at them, then you can roll on them because they won't get no protection. You see? It says, O daughter of Babylon. So the Most High is equating the Edomites with being the daughter of Babylon. It says, who are to be destroyed, because that's what's going to happen. They are being set aside for this destruction. They have been tailor-made, and this is why nothing really happens to them. They're not in trouble as other men. They don't die to deaths like other men. They usually, in other words, they still die, but they usually have a good life. So it says, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So the point is that future tense, who are to be destroyed. You were set aside strictly for this destruction. Proverbs 16:4, the wicked are reserved for the day of evil, for the day of wrath. In other words, for the day of destruction. They've been set aside. That's why ain't nothing happening to them. That's why they ain't being judged, because their judgment is coming. So they're being reserved perfectly for that day. And the ones of them that are higher ups that don't die in this up and coming destruction, guess what? They're going to be the first crop of slaves. Now, let's go from there to Lamentations chapter 4. Oh Lord. Lamentations chapter 4 verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. Yeah, so you might as well live it up, But, you should really start considering, because the scripture said that you didn't consider the latter end of these things. You thought that everything, you did what you did. You thought the Lord was on your side because the Lord ain't do nothing to you. You was like, oh, man, everything is cool. I'm in the clear, But you didn't consider the latter end of it, because when you read back in Isaiah 34, I believe it's the 7th verse, it speaks about the controversy of Zion. And the controversy of Zion is, you touch the apple of the Lord's eye, now the Lord going to touch you. It says, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. So now that you made us to drink of this cup, now the cup is going to pass to you. You're up next to drink that cup. See, we're up next for rulership, under Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You're up next for slavery, for hardships, for the curses. The curses are going to be transferred over to you. How about that? How do you like them apples? Thou shalt be drunken, because you're going to be, them curses are going to be all over you. Them whips are going to be all over you. Them iron rods are going to be all over you. I mean, just so much hell and turmoil is going to be all over you that you're going to be like if you was drunk. You're going to be drunk with affliction. How about that? You're going to drink batches of affliction, barrel full of affliction, It says, and shall make thyself naked. Yeah, because your sins are going to be uncovered. You've covered yourself up. You've acted, you put that veil in the world. You acted like you was these pious individuals. You called yourself the Israelite, the people of the Lord. You said the Most High looked like you. Yahushua looked like you. The angels looked like you. Everything that was great in the world that ever had anything to do with greatness, that was you. And everybody else is just pieces of shit. But it's reversed, because you are the basis of men. It says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. That's why you're going to be stripped. The Lord says he's going to spread shameful spewing on your glory. Your glory is that everybody looked at you at a certain particular way, in awe of you. The world wondered after the beast. But the Lord is pushing and dropping shameful spewing on you, on your glory. Because it's starting to come out how you really got there, how you really got this. Your real intentions. Because that is part of the things that would happen before you go down, was you have to be revealed first. Then the second stage of that is the destruction part. All right, now let's go from there. Oh, let's go to the word discover. Discover. He will discover thy sins. The word there is galah. Galah. To uncover, remove, depart, to go into exile. It says to carry away into exile, to take into exile, to be taken into exile. So pretty much what does it mean? The things that you did is what's going to bring your demise. It's what's going to bring you right into captivity. Let's go to Revelation 13 and 10. This is a, oldie but goodie. As basic as they come, but it hits harder than steel. That second part, inside joke. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. No compromises, no ifs, ands, or maybes. The Lord said he's not going to acquit the wicked. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So it's not a compromise. It's not possibly or maybe or probably, or probably. No, you put somebody in captivity, especially the people of the Lord. Guess what? That's what's going to come upon you. You read the book of Obadiah. It said that you're going to drink it down continually. Like in that movie, The Three Kings. You had the character that Matt Damon played. They had him strapped to a chair. No, that was Mark Wahlberg. I believe it was Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, they had him strapped to a chair, and they were so mad at Esau and at the American military for being so greedy for oil. They said, "Oh, you want oil?" They strapped him to a chair. They put a funnel in his mouth, and they started pouring oil down his throat. And this is what Ephraim did to them goddamn Spaniards. They took a Spaniard, they melted gold down. They said, "You motherfuckers want gold?" They held him down. They poured that gold down his throat till he dropped dead. So you're gonna drink it down. It's gonna be force fed to you, because you ain't gonna want to eat it. Just like with Jake, when you had Judah in captivity, and you would break their teeth out because they'd rather not eat and die, than to serve you. You would break their teeth out and put that funnel in their mouth and force feed them. Well, guess what? That's how you're gonna eat and drink slavery and captivity. How about that? How do you like them apples? Huh? Now, let's go from there to the book of Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and 4. We're going to read a couple of verses. It said, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues." Why? Because we're at the point now where judgment is about to come down. And this is why the Lord has us out here in the streets teaching, Jake out there, the ones that are part of the elect, to get sealed so that they won't be a partaker of this destruction that's coming. And the part of when it says, "Come up out of her, my people," that's the elect going up into the chariots. You can read about that in Revelation 11. "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquity." So now what's happening? She's being rewarded. She's being recompensed. As we read in Lamentation 4, she's being recompensed. She's about to be rewarded for all the evils that she's done. "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled to her double." So you're about to get hit, with the plagues of the Lord. It says, "How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her," because you have a lot to pay for, man. I mean, words cannot describe the pain that you're going to feel when the kingdom of heaven is established, because it's innumerable, it's unmeasurable, it's unspeakable, the things that you have done on the planet to the Israelites, to the nations of the world, and your suffering is going to be legendary. You heard of that, shit's about to get medieval out here. Well, it's going to get worse than that. Shit's about to get kingdom out here. You about to suffer the worst that any other nation on the planet have suffered. It says, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow, because you don't believe that you're going down. This is how pompous and proud you are. You know, it's just like you see your ship going down, but you're still proud. Like, no, somehow, some way it's going to turn around. No, it's not going to happen. You know, because you think you're the shit. But you are the shit, the lowest of the low. Therefore, and shit has more meaning than you. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, who judgeth her. That's right. And everything's going to come upon you in one day. All of this sneaking and conniving and robbing and stealing and murdering and, you know, underhanded shit that you've done, and rape, and, you know, everything that you've done on the earth, and the amount of time that you spent working and conniving and setting this whole system up, in 1 hour it's going to be all gone. And that's going to be the worst part for you, because you're used to living such a lavish lifestyle. You're fared sumptuously every day. You're used to being pampered. You're used to having everything at your whim, everything at your beck and call. You have servants, slaves, you have everything more than heart could wish. And then to go from that to nothingness, to peasantry, to lowest on the totem pole, you're gonna catch it, man. You're gonna catch it. Now let's go from there to Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and 24. We're going to read a couple of verses. Then we're going to jump. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Yeah, for the controversy of Zion, Isaiah 34:7, or verse 8, either 7 or 8. You know, so everything that we read, tying Babylon, tying Esau, tying Babylon the Great, you know, everything is leading in the same direction. The discovering of your sins, the things that you've done, the wickedness that you've done, you're going to pay for it. You did evil to the children of Israel. Now it's going to be paid back unto you. Your sins are being discovered. You're being found out. You know, you're caught red-handed. It says, behold, I am against the old destroying mountain, because that's all you do. Ever since this government has been established, has done nothing but destroy the people of the world. And that's exactly what you've done. You were, not only was the missiles created as a waster to destroy, you're also a waster to destroy. That's why the Lord, when he comes back, he's going to destroy them that destroy the earth. That's why the trees and the animals and the people are going to rejoice when you finally go down, man. Because you have been, the scriptures say, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You know? So people in the world are really in mourning. But the Lord said, Yahweh said that your sorrow shall be turned into joy. It says, saith the Lord. So you are destroying mountain, and the Lord is against you. You think he's for you, he's against you. You got in your court system, in God we trust, on your money, in God we trust. You have people believing that you're talking about the Heavenly Father, you know, that created the heavens and the earth and all of that, you know, by his son Yahweh Shai. But you're talking about Satan, because that's who you get your power from. You are the sons and the daughters of Satan. It says, which destroyeth all the earth. And who did that? Just based off of the scripture, who destroyed all the earth? Did the Babylonians destroy all the earth back then? No. Did the Assyrians? Did the Medo-Persians? No. It was you Edomites. When you Edomites came into power, you destroyed everything. You destroyed the lives of people. You destroyed their minds. You know, you destroyed their homes. And now in these times, you've destroyed the air, the quality of the air, the quality of the food, the quality of the water, the minds of the people, and everything else that goes along with it, man. So you got to pay, man. It says, and I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, because the Most High is gonna bitch slap the hell out of you. He gonna bitch slap you out of Salaka. He gonna bitch slap you out of rulership. It says, and roll thee down from the rocks. Yeah, because when you roll somebody down, they're done. They're finished. So the Lord's going to roll you down. And this is how you're going to pay. You know, you're going to get knocked off of your high horse. You're going to get knocked off of that mountain. You ain't going to be king of the mountain no more. You're going to be rolled down a hill to the piece of shit that you really are. It says, and will make thee a burnt mountain, because this place is destined for total devastation, destruction by thermonuclear destruction and by the lasers from the chariots. It says, and they shall not take of thee for a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. Yeah, because you're thinking that you're going to be able to rebuild after this devastation. But that's it. You're building now. The Lord said you're going to build and he's going to throw down. You know, and once you're thrown down this time, that's it. It's over for you. It's a wrap. Now let's jump down to the 33rd verse. It says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, the daughter of Babylon, you Edomites, is like a threshing floor. What do you do with a threshing floor? You fill it with wheat, or you fill it with grapes, or you fill it with whatever, and you thresh it because you're separating, you know, you're squishing, like when on a wine press on the floor, you're squishing the grapes, you know, to get the blood out of them. So the Lord is he's going to totally obliterate you, your kingdom. But some of you are going to survive, especially the higher ups, because you're going to be the first to taste slavery. It says it's like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. So it's time for you to go down, man. You've ran your course. You did run well. None did hinder you. You know? But now it's time to pay. It says, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Because harvest is what? Reaping time. You have a time to sow and a time to reap. It tells us that in Ecclesiastes 3. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. Right, because you Edomites, your rulers that are being run by the international banking families, they crushed the Lord by what? By crushing us. The Lord said that he was but a little displeased, and you helped forward the affliction. You went overboard. It's all right, because you were thirsty for blood. You were thirsty for revenge, and you thought that you finally got a chance. You thought that you finally got the chance that Esau didn't get back then to kill Jacob. But now, you know, when you got that chance, you went all out, man. There was no stopping you, man. You know? It says, he hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. So what? The Lord is comparing Nebuchadnezzar and the daughter of Babylon to what? To a who? To a what? To a where? To a where? Huh? A dragon? What's going on here? Huh? What's going on here? He has filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. Yeah, because you took everything that we had. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. And those of you that have been studying, you know that the Revelation chapter 12 is talking about the Roman Empire. You know, Jake catching hell under the Roman Empire. You know, Yahushua being born to deliver us, and the war in heaven, and the great onslaught of the Roman armies that came against our people back then, and it's going to happen again today. Revelation 12 and 17, it says, and the dragon, what? The who? The what? The dragon? What? And the dragon was wroth with the woman. Who's the woman? The Israelites. Who's the dragon? The Roman Empire. Today, they came back as who? As America. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. You were pissed off and mad, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. And that's what's about to go down. Jacob's trouble. This happened back then, and it's going to happen now. Which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. The dragon, baby. Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. What? The dragon. It says, he hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. And that's what you've done. Now, let's go. It says, the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon. That's right. Shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. That's right. Now let's go from there to the book of, matter of fact, back to Jeremiah. Let's read the 36th verse now. We read 35. Let's read Let's read on. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will plead my cause and take vengeance for thee. It says, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry, because the Most High is going to take everything. He's going to strip you bucket naked of everything. And Babylon shall become heaps. Ancient Babylon did not become heaps. It was translated from the Babylonians to the Medo-Persians. From the Babylonian Empire to the Medo-Persian Empire. A dwelling place for dragons, because once this place goes down, what's going to inhabit this place are unclean animals, lizards, reptiles, different birds, unclean animals, warthogs, or whatever the case may be, desert creatures. You can read about that in Isaiah 34, and we just read about it in Revelation 18. It says, an astonishment, because people are going to be amazed at how great this place was and what it was reduced to. It says, and in hissing without an inhabitant. Because once this place goes down, there's not going to be one inhabitant here. There ain't going to be somebody when after the destruction, they're going to come out of the bomb shelters and start rebuilding. No, those shelters in America is going to be your grave, because the Spirit of the Most High is going to be in those missiles, and He's going to guide them. That's why He's going to slap the remote out of your hand, like Elder Yashwamba says, and He's gonna guide those missiles where He wants them to go. Without an inhabitant, and you're gonna be a hissing, because people are gonna be like, man, you see this shit, man? This look at this shit. Look at these pieces of shit over here. It says, they shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat, I will make their feast. Yeah, so everything that you have here is going to go up in flames, man. Up in smoke. It's going to go up in smoke, baby. It's going to go up in smoke, baby, dog. Oh, Lord. And I will make them drunken. Because the Most High is going to, you're going to be getting hit with so many lefts. You're going to be wishing for a right. You're going to be like, damn, who's whipping my ass, man? It was like 1,000 people in the ring with me. No, man, it's the Lord fucking your ass up. It says that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep. Because once you go down, you're going to sleep a perpetual sleep, man. You're going to go down for the count, and you're going to be that way for the longest. You ain't going to, and when you think you got back up, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So you're going to wish you stayed down for the count. It says, and not wake, saith the Lord. So once you go down, it's over for you, man. No more dream, no more American dream. No more American nightmare. No more your bullshit, nasty, decrepit, metal infested, radiation infested wine. No more of that bullshit, Babylon juice. No more of that. It says, I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he goats. Did we not just read that in Isaiah 34? Did they not equate Isaiah 34 with the Edomites? Did we not go to Psalms 137 and equate the Edomites with the daughter of Babylon? Come on, man. How is Shishak taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? Yeah. How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Because at one time you were this beacon of light. Everybody wanted to come to America. The American dream. The streets are paved in gold. You go there, you're gonna be so rich. All your problems will disappear. That was the enchantment, the witchcraft they put on you. You get here, you're like, what the, It says, how is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? See, in ancient Babylon was just transferred from the rulers of Babylon to the Medo-Persians. It says, and that's pretty much it right there. Now let's jump from there to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 9. Oh, here we go. All right. Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. It says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. Right. And this is why the Lord said, don't lift your horn up on high, because promotion don't come from the east or the west or the south or wherever. Most High is the one that sets up one and puts down another. And once the Most High gives a decree that that's it, your kingdom is finished, there is nothing you could do. You can't heal that kingdom anymore, because that kingdom is on a downward spiral. And that's what we're seeing right now. America is on a death spiral. You know, that's a lesson right there. America is on a death spiral. But time and chance happeneth to them all. So you have a time and a chance. You know? And now you're at the point where you have a Chinaman's chance in hell. Because you're about to be destroyed by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now, let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Because everything is based off of prophecy. And prophecies are based off of time. Once the time threshold crosses, the appointed or allotted time, boom, then it's time for you to go down. And there's nothing you could do. You could go down quickly, like the walls in Jericho, or you could go down slowly, a little at a time. Your infrastructure crumbling, your financial system crumbling, your whole society, your governmental society, and your leaders crumbling. And in your case, you're going down slowly, but then you're going to go out with a bang when the missiles start to drop. Isaiah 13 and 22. It says, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Because time and chance happeneth to every man. Now let's go from there to Daniel 5. And let's jump down to the 25th verse. It says, and this is the writing that was written, many tekel upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, the Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So your time has already been set. And guess what? Now your time is up. And that's why everything is going on a downward spiral. See, the international banking families thinking that that they're manipulating everything, which they are, but they're manipulating everything because the Most High is the one that's causing you to manipulate everything to make it go down. You thinking it's for a great reset in your favor, but it is for a great reset, but in the Lord's favor. That's why the Lord said he set you in slippery places. It's like, okay, if you get on top of that pole right there, you'll be able to get that prize. And here it is, a pole is leaking with oil, and every time you try to climb, you get worse and worse, and you can't get up this. You're in a slippery spot. You're on a slippery slope, and you're sliding downhill. And the Lord says he's going to roll you down the hill and make you a burnt mountain. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance, and I found wanting. Yeah, because you said that you trust in the Lord, but the Lord said you don't follow instructions. Why are you surprised? If thou doest well, let's get that real quick. Genesis chapter 4. This is the Lord speaking to Cain. Genesis 4 and 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? It says, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. But obviously he's ruling over you, meaning Satan is ruling over you, sin is ruling over you, because you did not do the things that were favorable to the Lord. You did not do well. You didn't do well in your sacrifice, and you didn't do well when you killed your brother. Then when the Lord asked you, you lied. Talking about, am I my brother's keeper? So you're all fucked up. But then you came back as Esau. You sold your birthright. Your blessing got taken from you. So you're a loser all the way around. You were tailor-made for losery, if that's even a word. So back in Daniel 5:27, Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance, and are found wanting. That's right. So you're finished. you're through. It says, Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. But in this case, your kingdom is divided and given to Yahushai and the Israelites. Daniel 2:44, the divine kingdom. That has a nice ring to it. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Because once the kingdom of Yahushua is established, which we're joint heirs with him, it's never going to be lost again. There's not going to be any more translations or transfers of power. The elect are not, Yahushua and the elect are not going to be transferred back into the kingdom and back into the heavens. After 1,000 years, it's going to be an everlasting kingdom. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And right now, we're at the very end of this great statue, these great kingdoms that Daniel saw. It says, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. And that stone, that rock is Yahushua, that boulder. The same boulder, the same stone, the same chief cornerstone that's being rejected by a lot of these Israelite groups. And I'll just leave it at that. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocryphy, as King Mashal would say. The 9th chapter and the 5th and 6th verse. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And what happened in Jericho? In Jericho, the end was manifest. They walked around the city for 6 days, blow the trumpet, and then the last day they walked around 7 times, blew the trumpet, the people shouted, and the walls that came tumbling down. And that's why when everything is finished, said and done, once the 7th trumpet blows, the 7th angel blows, that's it. It's over. The mystery will be finished. All right, where are we at? What's 2nd Ezra? Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. And this is why we see the effects and signs coming up, because these are the tokens that the Lord said would happen when this place would be brought down totally. All right, let's go from there to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Time and chance happening to all men. There's a season for one to rule and a season for one to fall, but then there's the everlasting season of the Lord to be fully implemented once Yahushua's kingdom is established. Job chapter 14 and 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. So the Lord holds sway as to the amount of time that kingdoms rule. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So you can't pass the boundaries that were set as far as land is concerned, air, water, and you can't pass the boundaries as far as time is concerned. Because you think, and brothers put it up earlier, Psalms 49:11, you think that you're going to continue on forever, but no, you're done. Your timing is up. Now let's go to Job 5th chapter. Got a couple more precepts. Job 5 and 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. So at the end of the 6 troubles, or the 6th trumpet, or the 6th angel, we have to be on our way up into the chariots. By the time the 7th comes, it's going to be simultaneous. Ending of the 6th, beginning of the 7th, elect going up into the chariots. It says, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, because once the 7th trumpet blows, ooh, that's what I'm going to say, inside joke. But once the 7th trumpet blows, it's done. It's over. Now let's go to Revelation 11 and 15. It says, the 7th trumpet, Yahushua's reign foreseen. See? It says, Revelation 11:15, and the 7th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. You see? That great shout. Just like Jericho, that great shout. At what? At the seventh day after the trumpets blew. After they went around the city 7 times. And the walls came a-tumbling down. All right, now let's go from there to Revelation 14 and 7. It says, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. Who made the heavens and the earth and the fountains of water? The Most High gave that to Yahushua, who created all things. They say, what? Huh? What? The who? The what? The where? The worship. Okay. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And this is the judgment, the reward for her wickedness. That's why the Lord said, only with thine eyes shall thou see the reward of the wicked. Now let's go to the 15th chapter, next chapter over, and the first verse. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels. See, it keeps talking about 7 angels, having the 7 last plagues, the 7 trumpets, the 7 troubles. For in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. Now let's look up this word, filled up. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, filled up. It says teleho, or teleo. Teleo comes from the word telos. From the word telos. All right. It says to bring to a close, to finish, to end. Right. So that's the words of the Most High being fulfilled. Right. Past, finished. To perform, execute, complete, fulfill, so that the thing done corresponds to what has been said, the order, command, etc. With special reference to the subject matter, to carry out the contents of a command. Oh, check it out. With reference also to the form, to do just as commanded, and generally involving the notion of time, to perform the last act, which completes a process to accomplish, fulfill. So we're in the last act. You know, the closing credits are about to roll. Esau, you done fulfilled your lot. You did your thing. You did these crimes. Now you got to do the time. All right. So that was what? Because it says that the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. That's what's going to bring the scene to an end, the movie to an end. And what we're about to see is the rolling credits roll up. You know, we're at that very last scene, that intense scene where good is fighting against evil, you know, and it went past already. Well, it's at the point, you know, sometimes the good guy and the bad guy fight at the end, and then the bad guy seems like he's getting the upper hand, but then all of a sudden love comes in there and hits hate with that check hook, and hate goes down for good. That's where we're at. We're at that point right now. All right. Let's go from there to the next chapter, Revelation 16 and 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And we're about to witness that wrath in the form of all of these plagues that are coming, you know, whatever, famine, destruction, mayhem, uproars of the people, and eventually the missiles and the lasers from the chariots. Now let's go from there to the next chapter, Revelation 17 and 1. It says, and there came out of the 7 angels, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So this is the judgment. We're reading about the judgment. We're reading about the build-up. We're reading about the decline. We're reading about the rolling down that the Most High is going to do upon these devils. Now let's go from there to the book of Revelation 10 and 5. It says, and the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. Time and chance happening to every man. There's a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Your time is up, Esau. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of the Most High should be finished, as he have declared to his servants the prophets. All right? And that's what the scripture said. We have a more sure word of prophecy. Now let's go back to the book of Revelation 16 and 16. It says, and he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, the final war to end all wars. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, it is done. Did not the people shout after the seventh time around the trumpets blew? Did not Joshua command the people to shout? And what happened? The walls, it came a tumbling down. You know, and that's what America is, a tumbling down. You know, because why? Because it is done. There's nothing else left. The movie is finished. The only thing that could be done now, more than that, is the credits rolling up, you know, and the soundtrack that plays at the end. All right. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake. And what's going to cause this earthquake? That earthquake that's going to make the earth rock to and fro like a drunkard. You know, it's going to shake it from its foundation. You know, there's going to be a whole lot of shaking going on, baby. Inside joke. Such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. And what's going to cause this mighty earthquake? You know, the missiles when they hit, boom. Because remember, you got that aftershock. You know, when you have certain earthquake, what happens? There's certain it triggers tsunamis. You know, so that's going to be what's going to make the earth rock to and fro, because it's going to be so many missiles, 200 million missiles hitting it, that's going to make the whole earth shake, rattle, and roll. Going to shake, rattle, and roll. And the great city was divided into three parts. The three parts represents the three classifications of men, which is Esau. You have the sons of the power, or the sons of God, which are the Israelites, the sons of men, which are the nations, and the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites. It says, and the cities of the nations fell, because the nations also, their rulership is going to be done, finished. And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High. It ain't going to be nothing nice, you know, because they ain't do nothing nice. So only thing that's going to be on the Lord's mind is what? Total devastation and destruction. Dropping that wine without any mixture. It says to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. So you could just imagine once the Most High lets loose on this place. You know, that's why I said, what if the Most High, willing to show his power, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? And remember, the Most High don't deal with these nations. Yahweh don't deal with these nations like he deals with us. He kick our ass, you know, but with them, he waits to the very last minute and unleashed all his wrath upon them. It says, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, which is what? The missiles. And men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Whoo, my goodness. It's going to be, you know, a time has never been since the world began. You know, the intensity is going to be even worse than the flood. Revelation 18:1 and 2. Got like two more precepts. It says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Excuse me. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils. So as once this place goes down, it's going to be inhabited by unclean desert creatures. And the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird, because that's the only thing that's going to be here. Nothing else will ever inhabit this place ever again. Verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. So this is the avengement of the Most High upon them, the controversy of Zion. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and she be found no more at all. Why? Because she was established upon violence, and she will go out on violence. Woe to him that establishes a city by blood. Right? Now, the last precept I have, Revelation 19:1. And after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven, saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments. For he hath judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. And again they said, Hallelujah, and the smoke rose up forever and ever. So, whoo, man, this place is going to go out, you know? And Jericho had no idea that they were going to go out like that. And America has no idea that they're going to go out like that, even though we're telling them. See, nobody went over there, nobody went up there and told Jericho how they was going to go down. But the Lord has his prophets here telling America how she's going to go down. And they still ain't going to believe it until it happens. You know? So just as the walls of Jericho came a-tumbling down, the walls of America and America in general is going to come a-tumbling down. And we're at the very last end of this whole thing. And what you're witnessing on the earth right now is the whole infrastructure being set up to push this, MOTB. And once that's done, that's it. World War III, and boom. Then Yahweh cracked the clouds with Michael and the other angels, the elect being saved, and for good riddance to this fucking filthy piece of shit place. The worst place on the planet Earth, the worst captivity ever. It's going to finally be over. The nightmare is going to finally be over. You read that in the book of Job, the book of Psalms, about this nightmare being over with finally. So with that, I pray that your brothers and your few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.